Hey there, lovely. If you're a driven and highly ambitious woman who has checked all the boxes, followed all the rules, only to realize you don't actually feel fulfilled or you don't feel like you're living your purpose, then you are absolutely in the right place. My name is Melissa Chavis. I'm an intuitive mindset coach, and I am absolutely obsessed with helping you discover your true purpose, that thing you were put here on this earth to do, so that you can live the most fulfilling and abundant life possible. Hey there, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. I just want to say Happy New Year. I hope that your year is off to a great start and that you had a great holiday season and that this year will be an amazing year for you. I actually have been off the last 2 weeks, but it feels really good to be back here with you and recording this episode. So, today I want to talk about a comment I recently received from someone inside my subscriber community. They said, "You never really talk about the actual transition and how you go about making the changes in your life." Essentially, they're wondering what are the actual steps to go from feeling stuck in this 9 to 5 to living a life that truly feels aligned and fulfilling and where you actually feel lit up and alive every day. They're really hoping that I can provide them with some sort of step-by-step process to go from point A to point B. But the truth is, this process is going to look different for everyone. And it really all depends on exactly where you are right now and where you want to end up. And while, of course, there are logistical pieces to this, steps that you will need to take in your life to move from point A to point B, the thing is, you are ultimately trying to do something that most people only ever dream of. And so that means that you will need to make decisions on this journey that most people would never make. And so, as I sat and thought about this comment a little bit more, I realized that pretty much everything I talk about on this podcast is aimed at helping you make those decisions that need to be made in order to actually live the type of life that most people will only dream about. In order to make different decisions than you've ever made, or different decisions than the people around you are going to make, you must first shift the way you think about things and your belief systems. Because if you continue to believe the same things and move through life in the same way that you always have, or the same way as all the people around you, you're never actually going to take those logistical steps, the step-by-step process. You're never going to actually do that, and you're never going to make this kind of transition in your life. So my job as a mentor is to help you go from feeling terrified that you might be making a reckless decision by trying to create a different life for yourself to seeing this transition and those logistical steps that need to be taken as the most logical next steps for you and the life that you truly want to live. And of course, the logistical piece is something that I work through with my clients in my one-on-one mentorship. But ultimately, the actual logistical pieces, like I said, are going to look different for every single person. So there's truly no way I can just give you like a step-by-step plan and just say, here, follow this exactly, and you will get to where you're trying to go. It truly depends on your unique situation and what you ultimately want out of life, because that's the whole point here, is that we are getting down to what success looks like for you and what your dream life looks like. Not anybody else's, not mine, not some other random person out on the street. Truly, what does it look like for you? And then we can figure out the steps to taking you from where you are currently in your life to where you ultimately want to go. You may be a woman who has had a successful corporate career and done all the things, checked all the boxes in life, but maybe you've become a mother and you've realized that you actually would love to be able to stay home and be with your children as they grow and raise your kids. Or you might be a woman who has created a successful corporate career for herself, but now you really want to branch out and start your own business, doing something that you actually love doing and that will bring you more joy in your life. So the logistical pieces of these journeys are going to be different for each of these women. And so ultimately, the only way that I can guide you or help you on the actual steps to take is if I know your unique situation, if I know the different pieces at play here. Now, having said that, are there pieces that probably apply to everyone? Yeah, sure. For instance, should you make sure that you can financially swing this transition? Yes, absolutely. That's important. But is it still going to feel a bit like a free fall when you try to go from something that you know and that you've done for so many years to something that you've never done before and you're going outside the box? Yeah, it's still going to feel terrifying a lot of the time, which is why the majority of the work is centered around making sure that you can handle that level of discomfort that comes with making this transition. You can handle making decisions in your life that most people around you are not going to understand and would never make for themselves. And that is where all of this mindset work and all of these shifting beliefs comes into play. That is why you will hear me talking all day, every day on this podcast about the actual work that is necessary in order for you to get to a point in your life where you can take those steps, where you can actually put into place the logistical pieces of this process. This is the stuff that needs to be put into place. This is the groundwork that needs to be laid before you can ever take those steps in your life. Because if you try to just put this step-by-step plan into place, but you're not capable of handling the level of discomfort and the fear that will come up as you try to move through this process, then you're never going to be successful at getting from point A to point B in your life. If you would like guidance on the actual logistical pieces of this, I would be happy to talk with you about that and discuss what's appropriate for you and everything you have going on and where you are currently and where you want to go. That is exactly what I do inside my one-on-one mentorship. And so if you are interested in learning more about what that might look like or how I can support you in actually making the changes in your life that most people are only ever going to dream about, then please reach out. You can shoot me an email or you can always find me over on Instagram at Melissa Ann Chavis. I truly would love to talk to you about this and what it might look like for us to work together. I know that it's not a straightforward, specific answer to the question of what steps do I take to get from point A to point B, but that's because those steps are unique to you. Your journey And the specific steps that you take are not going to look like anyone else's, because ultimately, this isn't like the journey that we've all already taken of creating this successful corporate career for ourselves. Those steps are pretty straightforward and can be pretty plainly laid out for you. It's like go to college, get good grades, graduate, get your degree, go find a good job, and then work your way up in the organization until you get to this, high level role, and make sure that you're crossing your T's, dotting your I's, doing all the things you need to do to get that next promotion, right? Those are pretty straightforward steps. And we've all been told throughout our lives, like, these are the steps you need to take. And so I can understand how someone would be looking to me for that kind of guidance and would be saying, like, okay, well, I know the steps to do this, and people had told me, here's what you do. But that's kind of the whole point of this, is that no one knows these steps. No one knows exactly what you need to do in your life. And that is what we work together to figure out, because this isn't just some sort of plan that I can lay out for you to get to this dream life where you feel fulfilled and excited about your day-to-day life. It truly all depends on what that actually means for you. And that's the whole point of this. You're coming back to you, coming back to this place of realizing, understanding, and truly owning what it is that you want out of life. So it will be different for every single individual. All right. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next week.
That's it for another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you found it helpful, I'd love to hear from you. You can do that by liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel or rating and reviewing the podcast wherever you're listening.